Wind roared across the vast Mongolian steppe, carrying with it the smell of grass, horse sweat, and the faint promise of war. In 1162, beneath an endless sky, a boy named Temujin was born to the Borjigin clan. His father, Yesugei, was a respected chieftain, feared in battle and proud of his lineage. For Temujin, the path to power seemed secure, but fate was never kind for long on the steppe. Before Temujin could grow into his father's shadow, Yesugei was poisoned by enemies. The boy was barely 9 when the tribe, sensing weakness, abandoned his family to the harsh winds. In a world where survival meant loyalty to the strong, Temujin, his mother Hoelun, and his siblings were left to scavenge roots, berries, and whatever small game they could catch. Hunger gnawed at their bodies, and each day was a lesson in the cruelty of life. But the steppe also forged steel in the hearts of its children. Temujin learned early that power was not inherited. It was seized. He began gathering allies not from noble birth, but from loyalty and skill. He valued men who could ride far, shoot straight, and keep their word. This merit-based approach would one day redefine leadership in the Mongol world. By his late teens, Temujin had begun to unite small bands of warriors, forming bonds through blood brotherhood, the Anda Oath, and through the promise of shared spoils. He forged an alliance with Togrul, Khan of the Karaites, gaining protection and legitimacy. But alliances on the steppe were fragile. Betrayal lurked like a shadow. Rival clans captured and enslaved him, binding him in a wooden collar. Temujin escaped through cunning and the help of a single sympathetic guard, a reminder that even in chains, his mind remained free. Through years of skirmishes, shifting loyalties, and calculated diplomacy, Temujin's power grew. His military organization was revolutionary. He divided his foe into units of 10, Arban, 100, Zun, 1,000, Mingan, and 10,000 two-men, allowing flexibility, discipline, and rapid movement. Orders flowed swiftly through an efficient courier network, the YAM system, in which mounted riders relayed messages at breakneck speed across hundreds of miles. By 1206, after decades of battles, betrayals, and triumphs, Temujin stood victorious over the fractured tribes of the Mongolian plateau. In a great assembly, the Kurultai, he was proclaimed Genghis Khan, universal ruler. The title was not just a name, it was a declaration that the steppe had a master, and the world would soon feel his presence. The Mongol war machine under Genghis Khan was unlike anything the medieval world had seen. His armies could travel up to 100 miles in a single day, each warrior carrying multiple bows, a quiver of arrows, lances, and even spares of horses. They struck with speed, often feigning retreat to lure enemies into traps. Siege warfare, once foreign to nomads, became their strength as Genghis recruited engineers from conquered lands to build siege engines, catapults, and even early gunpowder weapons. His conquests began with the Xixia kingdom and the Jin dynasty of northern China. The Mongols moved like a storm, encircling cities, cutting off supplies, and unleashing relentless assaults. Genghis Khan's strategy was ruthless but effective. Surrender willingly, and your people would be spared. Resist, and the destruction would be absolute. News of his mercy to the compliant and the devastation to the defiant traveled faster than his armies, causing many cities to submit without a fight. In 1219, his eyes turned west to the Khwarezmian Empire, a wealthy Muslim state stretching from Persia to Central Asia. When a trade caravan sent by Genghis was murdered by a governor and his envoys executed by the Shah, the Khan's wrath was swift and terrible. The Mongol invasion was a hurricane of destruction. Cities like Bukhara and Samarkand fell, their populations scattered or slain. Yet even in conquest, Genghis Khan valued order. He revived and secured the Silk Road, ensuring merchants could travel safely under Mongol protection from the Yellow Sea to the Caspian. Genghis Khan's governance was as revolutionary as his warfare. He codified laws in the Yasa, emphasizing loyalty, discipline, and protection of the weak. Religious tolerance was a cornerstone of his rule. Buddhists, Muslims, Christians, and shamans all found a place in his empire. He recognized that faith could unite or divide, and he chose unity. His postal relay system kept the empire connected, and his census ensured efficient taxation and resource distribution. By the mid-1220s, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific coast of Asia to the Caspian Sea, the largest contiguous land empire in human history. Yet Genghis Khan was never content. In 1226, after a campaign against the Tanguts of western Xia, he prepared for another great conquest. But fate intervened. In 1227, during the final stages of the Xia campaign, Genghis Khan died. The exact cause remains a mystery. Some say from a fall off his horse, others from illness or even assassination. His body was returned to Mongolia, buried in an unmarked grave somewhere on the steppe, as was tradition. Legend says that those who buried him were killed to keep the location secret, and that horses trampled the ground to hide all trace. The man was gone, but his emishimas, pyre endured. Under his sons and grandsons, the Mongol dominion expanded further, reaching Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and deep into China. Genghis Khan's legacy is complex. To some, he was a brutal conqueror whose campaigns cost millions of lives. To others, he was a visionary leader who united warring peoples, promoted trade, and reshaped the medieval world. His merit-based leadership broke the grip of hereditary privilege, allowing the most capable to rise regardless of birth. His communication and administrative systems bound together a vast and diverse empire for generations. From the boy abandoned on the steppe to the ruler of the greatest land empire in history, Genghis Khan's life was a testament to the raw force of will, strategic brilliance, and the relentless drive to shape destiny. Even today, his name carries the weight of legend, whispered in awe, cursed in fear, and remembered as a force that bent the world to its knees,